Hello, and welcome back to another Dokkan battle video. So, since the Artificial Lifeform mission has been live in-game, we have recently received 4 different EZA characters, ranging from a Dokkan Fest LR and LR Buhan here, to 3 sub-EZA characters, essentially, in this one AGL Cell Juniors, the Int 16, who was memed on legendarily, but now is actually useful, and Mr. Boo, right? Tons of new EZA characters that we can now use on the Artificial Lifeform team. I do not have the LR Gammas, so I can't make any claims about them, but we do have all the others in here. Now, notably, there is 2 parts of 2 of our units' passives that we literally will not be able to activate here, right? Being the Rainbow Orb changing for the Cell Juniors, as well as more stats and support for the Android 16. We just literally can't activate that, purely because they require certain types of other characters to be on your team, and those characters, one, are either not on the Artificial Lifeform category in Super Saiyan Gohan or Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, but are just too bad to run here, which is the perfect cells, right? They're just not good enough. But with all these new buffs to the Artificial Lifeform team, this whole team and this mission becomes significantly easier, in my opinion. I have finally beaten it on my own accord, just with Mr. Boo's addition, right? Because he's still like a pretty solid little unit. He gets Rainbow Orbs, he gets damage reduction, and that's pretty much it, right? Like, he's solid enough to run in here and to be completely fine throughout the entire duration of this event. Now, the Cell Juniors here, they are an Artificial Lifeform support who gets dodge chance, right? I mean, a lot of dodge, depending on how many Artificial Lifeform characters you have on your team. So they should have 70% chance to dodge here, and then I personally gave them full dodge in their hidden potential system. So the chances that they get hit are pretty rare, so we really shouldn't have to worry about them too much. If they get locked on slot 1, again, they will have that dodge chance. Same thing here with 16. He is a damage reduction character who just needs to have his guard get activated a couple times and he'll have complete damage reduction. So he is also incredibly powerful. I do really like what they did with all of these EZAs, just because it's stuff that helps us, and that's what we really needed. It's just things that can help us beat missions like this. Like Mr. Boo being really tanky, 16 being tanky, an Artificial Lifeform support unit who is dodging, right? This is stuff that matters for these lower, nastier, stupider categories, right? That gets all these missions, that is always really hard whenever they get missions for. We need good characters like this, and I'm glad that we're finally getting that. Now, do I still think there are more buffs for this team to come? I do, just because we still have a bunch of sub-EZA characters that have not happened yet. AGL Buhan, or not Buhan, Buikalo, as well as the Skinny Boo. You also have a major EZA in the Exchange Boo, right? There's a bunch of other characters that could help out this mission. So if you're somebody who really struggled with this mission during the anniversary, now it should be a lot easier. And also, if you're watching this and you're a global player, just know, I mean, you already have 16 and the Cell Juniors, right? But just remember that you do not have to beat this right away, because these EZA characters will be coming and they will help out a lot for these missions, right? So you don't have to stress about it too much. Eventually, you will be able to beat every single one of these missions, thanks to characters that are going to be coming in the future, right? That's a very big thing for this game, is that, like, currently for global, this is like your last few months of foresight. So knowing that there's going to be characters that are coming up already that are going to help you beat the hard content missions is good, right? Obviously, you should be doing the sub EZAs for the Cell Juniors and 16 right now anyway, because you have it on global right now. But characters like Mr. Boo and LR Buhan, right? They EZA pretty much at the end of the anniversary, as well as in a world tournament, right? Literally, the world tournament that just ended for us on JP is what gave us Mr. Boo's EZA. So I think that is 2 EZAs now for global that they have to do, or 2 world tournaments before they're able to get Mr. Boo, right? Which might be a while. It should happen before the anniversary, but if not, just remember that it will be happening, and then Mr. Boo will be helpful for this mission. I am still struggling with the movie bosses mission, mainly because I don't have characters like Harudagarn or Broly on my account, so it's a bit rough for me personally. But, you know, it is what it is. I really am not worried too much about Gohan here. And it looks like 7 is the most orbs you can get. Remember that Mr. Boo also gets additional damage reduction and stats per like orb collected here. And then the Cell Juniors, again, I'm not worried about them at all because they have that 70% chance to dodge. It's so good that they did this. I'm very happy. I mean, Mr. Boo was gonna Easy A probably anyway, but the fact that they also decided to Easy A Vegito and Gohan at the end of the anniversary, as well as 16 the Cell Juniors here with Super Vegeta, is a good idea. That's something that they didn't have to do, but they decided to do. Now, this does make me worry for when Tien and AGL Buikalo are gonna Easy A, because for when it comes to LR Easy A's, you don't really know, like the LR sub Easy A's, because they get just tossed on any random banner, like, or Easy A that like has already happened. So it's very odd. They don't really seem to have like a set schedule, because again, Cell Junior and Android 16, those are from the worldwide Gohan and Cell, right? And they Easy A'd over a year ago now, right? So it's kind of like, when is this supposed to be happening? Who knows, really? So again, we're just gonna have to wait and see when other characters that are awakened from LRs actually do end up getting their Easy A's here. I'm not worried about 16. He has basically 50% damage reduction. He gets stats on super attack. Like, he's gonna be completely fine. They turned him from a literal negative value unit to one of the best defensive units in the entire game. It's such a glow up for him, really, if you think about it. I'm glad that it happened to one of these characters, right? That used to be really, really garbage, but is now legitimately a solid choice. We still could run into some issues. Again, the final phase of this Gohan has always been an issue for this team, because, again, he has that massively damaging super attack that he locks somebody somewhere, and you just kind of have to deal with it as it goes, and you don't really have any, like, team protector mechanics on this team, like, at all, which is not great, but it's just something that you kind of have to roll with and hope things go well. They do have access to a bunch of, like, hit nullifications for, like, strike attacks. Mainly Gamma 1 and STR Kid Buu have that, so you're able to, like, kind of weasel your way through with those guys. But it ends up in a very troubling position, right? Where it's like, you're really hoping they don't get locked in slot 1, or locked out of slot 1, and someone else gets locked in slot 1. It just gets rough. But I think we should just be smooth sailing for the majority of this, and then once we get to that phase, we can just start popping out the good units, right? Like transformed Gohan, because it seems like we are taking this pretty slowly here. And the fact that we no longer have to use, like, the lower end tier of artificial life forms in terms of, like, again, STR Kid Buu, again, he's good for the final phase, but, like, it's really rough getting him there. STR Gohan, like the transforming Gohan, he's mediocre at best. He can't do damage in the second phase. He barely does damage in the third phase, right? He gets smacked up in the first phase. It's really rough. And then who else? Like 13, he's good, but he's not that good. You can use Metal Cooler, but he gets washed by this entire fight. Who else is there? I guess it's Cell, right? Like, he's just not good enough anymore for this kind of event, especially when the fight has type advantage for him. That hurts. But we're fine. I would have liked to save some of those orbs, but it's okay. What's the Cell Junior's defense? 280. Not bad. For a dodge character that's supporting. You gotta take those, you know what I mean? Now, he super attacked at the very end of the last turn, and his super attack cooldown is insanely long. So the chances of him super attacking anyone besides the Cell Juniors is pretty low. If he was going to super attack, it would be in slot 3, which is annoying. That, like, for sure, but it's not like the worst thing ever. Oh, 13 million, Jesus. I know I have the support memory active because like I'm doing this as if like I was someone who was actively trying to beat the stage with the new characters for the mission, which for these missions, no item runs do matter because it shows you which like characters are the best for it. But at the same time, if you're just somebody who wants to clear the mission for the stones because like you're a free-to-play player or something, just beat the mission. You can try it over and over and over and over and over again with whatever team you want to try it for after you beat the mission. But just beat the mission first, and then we can start going into no item runs, right? And I don't feel like we should really just try to do that here. I mean, I definitely could. I think, as evident as by what you're seeing on your screen, right? We're really not in too much danger right now. The problem with this fight comes exclusively from, I guess technically this phase, but also mainly from the final phase against Gohan, like the Beast Gohan himself. That's when things get really, really annoying. But as you're seeing on your screen, we're doing pretty well, pretty casually. Like, I've just been chatting up this whole time, and we're kind of just cruising on through. Getting more and more stacks from Gohan is also really good, because remember that Beast Gohan, if you don't do more than 3 million damage, you do 0 damage, which is stupid and annoying. But since Buhan's been stacking this whole time, not only is his defense going to be really, really good by the time we get there, he's also going to be able to just do actual damage to him. I think we maybe should have transformed there, but I think it should be fine. Alrighty. Who's locked and where are they locked at? Okay. Annoying, but not the worst thing ever. Remember one big thing about the Gammas and a bunch of the other superhero characters is at the end of the anniversary, they actually get unique equips added to the hidden potential stuff. Then this is what we need. A lot of this. Yeah, they all got unique equips added to the hidden potential stuff. So you're going to want to make sure that you go ahead and grab those, mainly for Gamma 1. He has a lot of defensive equips in there that make his defense just significantly better. Doing this on my computer is not easy. But, yeah, like he has a lot of extra defense in those equip shops, so I definitely recommend getting those for him. And any other superhero characters that you might need them for. Just because it helps. It really does. Like, they get significantly beefier with those equips. I didn't get really any of them for Gamma 2, just because, like, my build for Gamma 2 is pretty much set in stone. Like, I don't feel like I'm going to change it ever. He has 25 dodge and, like, 13, 15 additional, right? With a little bit of extra defense on there. So, like, I'm never changing that, because, like, it's kind of just, it works really, really well, and I'm happy with it, right? So, even though those EX equips are good, they're not ones that I would use ever. So I'm never going to use them for Gamma 2, but it's unfortunate, but it happens. One issue that we might run into now, though, since we did have to float off Gamma 2, is if he does end up getting locked in slot 1 when he comes back, that's like item or die, right? That's basically what that is. And I think it's probably double item or die, because I don't think he's able to eat that. Okay, Cell Junior's got locked. Now, that could potentially be a problem. They do have their 70% chance to dodge. Right? And it's pretty much pray they get that or they die, right? Do I trust them enough? Yeah. That's the kind of the point of this video, right? Is to show my trust in these new units. I mean, if he gets frauded out, he gets frauded out and we lose, right? And it's unfortunate, but just hope for the best. And he dodges it. That's the Cell Juniors, baby. Again, both of these banner units were so garbage on release, and now that they're legitimately good, it makes me very happy. Untouchable Cell Juniors. UI Cell Juniors. It does put a smile on my face, though, to see that kind of stuff from them. Yes, man, they're actually good now. And then remember, we're gonna get 16 on the next rotation, and he has a guard and damage reduction. So if you were to pop an item, let's say for instance, more than likely a Whis, if you're running this team in this kind of setup, if you end up popping a Whis, he essentially has about what he has 48% damage reduction, and add another 40 on there. He's basically at 90% damage reduction. It's 88 with guard. He's not dying to that. Like he's not getting murdered by the super attack, right? It's not happening. I need you to start critting Gohan to damage, but you know it is what it is. The main damage dealers are like Yama's, and then Buhan's 12 or 18 key. Everything else really doesn't do too much damage. All right, who's locked where? Okay, this is fine. Making sure these Gammas do get their super attacks in. Same thing for 16. It'll just make his defense a lot better. And then there's the the nullification again. Like, see what I mean? Like, once you start getting into a rhythm with it, where hopefully things are going pretty good, right? And your slot 3 characters don't get locked in slot 1 when they return. You tend to just do pretty good in here. Otherwise, you're praying for hidden potential system dodges, which is not a reliable strategy. I mean, obviously it's good when you just have it normally, but when your only option is to pray that you hit a potential system dodge, that's when things get very, very scary and you're really not able to do a whole lot. But with all these new units, it definitely, I feel a lot safer than when I did when I tried this mission, like when it released. On release, this mission was probably the hardest thing in the game by far. I think it was basically pull the LR Gammas or you don't beat it, right? That was essentially what the mission involved, and which was not great. 1.1 million. Just to be safe, I'll give good old Gohan this. He's good, but I don't know if he's eating the super attack comfortably there, and I don't want to really test him on that. The rest of these guys, they don't really need too much, so it's whatever. That, and one annoying thing about this Beast Gohan is that he stuns. Yeah, like it's still the damage. Gohan could have dodged it. He just didn't. Remember, that's another thing about Gohan. The lower your health is at the start of the turn, the more stuff he has basically guaranteed in his passive. So when he would get hit by that super attack, right? He has chances to guard and chances to dodge. Okay, that was the first time they got hit for a lot of damage, and that was not great. But as I was saying, if you're low when he enters the turn, he has guaranteed guard, and he'll heal more, right? While also having, I believe, a higher dodge chance, or he just has his dodge chance in general. He's kind of a weird guy, right? Where you have to be low when you enter the turn. But with the Artificial Lifeform team, usually it really wasn't that hard to be kind of low. But now it is a little iffy. I am not worried at all about Mr. Boo, by the way, because again, he has his major damage reduction, and then we have a Whis active. So, how much damage did you take, Mr. Boo? 0? Literally none? Nice. He's not rainbowed, by the way. I believe I have him 79%, which is still pretty high, but like that's pretty much, I had 1 copy going into the World Tournament, and then I got 2 from the World Tournament, right? Because remember, that's another big thing about the World Tournament EZAs, is you get them for free, and then you can buy them in the shop, like after the World Tournament leaves. And plus, you have the guaranteed SSR World Tournament tickets. And the current one on JP is really, really good. It has High School Gohan on there, who's really good. There's an AGO Super Saiyan Gohan from, I believe, the BoJack movie? Don't quote me. It's the BoJack or Broly movie. And he's also really, really strong. So, like, you have all these really powerful, like, free-to-play cards in there that you can just grab for free. And I do like that a lot. So, you know, Mr. Boo. Free of charge. Go and grab your Mr. Boo. Let's see how much he damage 16 takes from this. Well, I have a Whis active, so he has 90% damage reduction, but like, that's just hypothetically speaking. He still took damage, yeah. So you probably would want to pop a Whis if you were using him. Gohan pretty much exclusively super attacks in slot 1, so you're never going to have that opportunity to be like, oh, maybe I can super attack before he attacks. Nah, it's not happening. He's always going to super attack in slot 1. And if he doesn't super attack in slot 1, he's not super attacking at all the entire turn. One thing that does suck, though, is that Gohan does start losing parts of his passive. Right? So you really want to try to, like, blitz through this before Gohan eventually catches you, because eventually it'll happen. This has also been a very long video, right? But that's just kind of like the nature of this team. Like, it doesn't do a whole lot of damage. If we had other STR characters, we'd be doing more damage. Like, I think STR Kid Buu does legitimately do decent damage in here, but I'm trying to show off the new units. Oh, and we're dead. Yeah, this is what I was meaning, right? You kind of just... We had no choice but to float him off last time he was on rotation. And now he's back, and he got locked in slot 1. Which... Oh, he didn't super attack. Oh, okay. Never mind. I was about to say, this is something that can happen, and happens a lot, is your slot 3 characters just get locked in slot 1, and it's potentially a unit who's not really good for it. And... You just get... You just lose. Like, there's nothing you can really do about it, right? It's just... unfortunate. But since he didn't super attack in slot 1 again, that means he's literally just straight up not going to, which is good. It is very, very good. Now we're just hopefully waiting to see if when we get to the next turn, or if we end up killing here. I don't think we will. Yeah, no. When we get to the next turn, who gets locked in slot 1? I mean, actually, I floated off a Gamma 1, so if it's Gamma 1, that's fine. If it's 16, it's potentially iffy, but it should be fine. Oh, it's Buhan in slot 3. Okay, that's fine too. That's like completely okay. And this should be done, right? I doubt any of these guys die. He didn't super attack again. That's kind of RNG you kind of need, though, to be honest. Like, a lot of this fight is based majorly around RNGing your way around this guy's super attack. And making sure that you're, like, completely prepared for this. Because he will randomly just catch you, like, out of nowhere and you'll explode. Which sucks. Right? Because with a team like this, since the majority of the units don't do damage in this final phase, you're in here for a while. Like, again, we've been in here for 22 minutes. Still just, like, meandering through this fight. And, for instance, if Gohan doesn't kill here, and then we go on the next rotation, and we get locked in slot 1, and we die, that's 20 minutes just wasted. But as you can very clearly see here, this was significantly more comfortable than anything that we could have done prior to this. Would it have been easier if I had the LR Gammas? Yeah. I would probably use them over Gamma 2. But also remember, a big thing about the LR Gammas is they have to crit in the final phase to be able to do damage. They do get basically guaranteed crit if you collect enough int key spheres, but you're also banking on getting int key spheres, right? So anyway, that's the new and improved artificial lifeform team minus the actual premium character that just dropped, right, that I don't have, right? So do let me know if this was helpful to you, specifically for people on Global, or for people who have still been struggling with the artificial lifeform mission. Let me know how you guys feel about this in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.